So, happy Boxing Day, everybody. Hope you've all made the best you possibly can out of this Christmas. It's all been a bit weird, hasn't it? I know ours was thrown into disarray with the tier systems and people that should have been coming and relatives can't come and what have you. And I'm sure that's the same for lots and lots and lots of you out there. It's been a bit of a disaster, but you know, you make the most of it, don't you? And hopefully you've had a good one. But anyway, Christmas is just gone yesterday. And I've got a couple of announcements to make. Now, if you watched any of the Obsession with Carp stuff in the original lockdown, which unfortunately I think we're tumbling straight back into pretty soon, don't you? You may or may not be aware that that indirectly led to a demand for the book, An Obsession with Carp, and me reprinting or totally redoing, remastering as I've called it, remastering An Obsession with Carp. Now, this is only a mock-up copy, just the cover, because the actual books don't arrive with me for another couple of weeks, but I'll go into that in a sec. But it's done, the actual pages are printed. I'm waiting on the binding to be done after the Christmas break, so it is imminent. Now, I've got a pre-order set up on my website. All the any links you need for anything I talk about will be at the bottom in the little comments panel or whatever it's called at the bottom. So there'll be a pre-order button for this. It goes live on the 28th. I don't know whether it might be like, you know, early hours in the morning or just after midnight. I'm not sure. It's an auto thing. But the 28th is when you can pre-order. I haven't done a massive run. I've got no idea of the demand, only through what people have asked me. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I didn't want to do tons of them and just end up with loads of them left. You know, it's not a cheap process. I'm doing it off my own back, and I'm doing everything to do with it myself, all the publicising and the sending out the lot, you know, so I didn't want to go mad with it. So I don't know how long they'll last, but the 28th is when the pre-orders start. I've already done a small pre-order section on my Inner Circle channel, which I'll go into again in a minute, and that's been very well received. So I'm sort of thinking that they won't hang about for long, but anyway, that's your choice. So that will be live on the website below, the www.davelane.co.uk site, as from the 28th. The book is different to the original in pictures only. I've stayed loyal to the text, the words. There's the odd sentence changed here and there, or paragraph, because just to make things flow a little bit better, but only a tiny bit. You know, I appreciate that the book was written at a time in a style, and that's what, you know, hopefully people want, is the book as it was. But the photography is completely different. Back in the day when I made the first book, published the first book, you couldn't get all colour photography. You could, it was like massively expensive. As such, the book had a lot of small black and white photos, and any colour photos were all lumped together in little blocks throughout the book, and it would say see page 134 or whatever. They weren't where you wanted them, and they weren't very special. It's now full colour, top of my head, 138 colour plates or something in there, something like that. There's a lot of new photography, but old photography, but that's not been published in the book before. There are some photos and slides that I've found that have never been publicised before. Not many, but there's some completely unique ones. And some of the photos that were used in the original book, even if they were in colour, have been changed to another photo from that same fish or day or whatever, just to mix it up. I spent an awful lot of time in Lightroom and Photoshop cleaning, and you know, they're old photos, but I've managed to get them all back to probably better than they were when they were printed, to be honest. So it's looking lovely. I've had all the proofs, the colour proofs, looks amazing. And like I say, that'll be ready for pre-order from the 28th. So if you want one, don't hang about. The books themselves are coming to me on hopefully January the 15th. Now, I don't know if that's dependent on what happens, what Boris says, you know. I'm hoping not, because like I say, the pages are printed, they just need binding. So I don't know how that might be affected. Hopefully not at all. But if they come in to me on the 15th of January, they will be sent out in order of your order, basically. The first person that you know, bought a book will be the first box that's sent out, and so on. It all being kept. The pre-orders are prepaid, so if you want to pre-order it, you have to pay for it there, and then that generates a postage label. They all get stored in chronological order, and that's the way the books will go out. There is only me and the missus doing it. We're not Amazon, we're not eBay, we're not WH Smiths, if they're even still going. It's just us, so you'll have to be patient. You will not get, if you pre-order, again, I'm not Amazon, you will not get an auto-generated thank you for your order, it will be sent out on blah blah or whatever. I have to do that. You have to have an e-commerce site, which is expensive, complicated, and I haven't got one. I've got a normal website and a normal business PayPal. You'll probably get a confirmation from PayPal saying, that your money's been taken. If your money's been taken, you're on the list, okay? If people message me on the God knows how many platforms, there's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's email, there's Messenger, there's whatever, there's the websites. The more people message me, when will I get my book? Where's my book? If you imagine, I don't know, let's say it takes 3 minutes to answer each question or inquiry. So 10 of them is half an hour. 100 of them, it's a day later by the time I can get round to wrapping and signing books. So I'm going to try and answer the few frequently asked questions, if you like, right now. All books will be signed, not the first X amount. All the books will be signed. None of them will be personalised, because logistically that's a nightmare. So if you're going to send a message saying, can you sign it to John? I can't, because I'll have a pile of books. I'll be signing them, passing them to the missus. She'll be wrapping them, passing them hopefully to one of the kids who will be putting the postage labels on them. Then I've got to go to the end of the run, put them all in a sack, drive them up the post office and post them. I couldn't logistically sort out one book to a certain person, get it with the right label. Unfortunately, that can't happen. So they'll all be signed. They'll be posted in order of how I've received them, how I've received the orders. The post office, I've spoken to the post office. Now they say because it's January, it's going to be a lot better than it's been at the moment. It's been a nightmare at the moment, the postal system. They say 3 days. Generally, most people say anything up to 10 days. So, if it's not there 3 or 4 days after the 15th, please don't, please wait, give it a bit of patience. It may take a little bit longer. These books are taking 10, 12 days at the moment, but hopefully that'll be better in January. So there'll be a link to my website. When you click on it, if you clicked on it, right now, it would say or pre-orders from the 28th, but you click on it from the 28th and it will take you straight in to where you can order. First thing, because this happens an awful lot, books get sent out to the address that is on your PayPal account, your delivery address. Lots of people, I've done it, lots of people move and don't think to change that address, or they gift something to somebody and it gets sent to a different address, your sons, your daughters, your mums, whatever, and that stays on your PayPal. Check you live where that PayPal address is before you do anything, because that's where your book's going. So, important. Also, if you're not on if you haven't got a PayPal account, when you go to the button and it comes up with a login page for your PayPal, if you just scroll up or down, you go down a little bit, there'll be a little tab or a line that you click there so that you can pay with a credit or debit card. That's just sort of like logging in as a guest, and then you fill in your details there. So if you haven't got PayPal, you can still do it through the same link. Cost of the book is £30, which is pretty standard for a hardback fishing book nowadays, plus a £5 post and packaging. It will come out to you in a cardboard box, which I find you get a lot less damage than you do in sort of jiffy bags and bubble wrap. So that's about it for the book. It's, like I say, hopefully it'll all run smoothly, be in January. The less, honestly, the less messages I get that I have to deal with, then the more time I can spend signing and wrapping and posting books. So, like I say, be kind to me, bear with me. One other thing with the Obsession series that I've done in the lockdown, I don't know if you know or not, that led on to other things when the lockdown finished and everyone went back to work, I decided not to carry on my work with TF Gear, and instead I started a sort of pay-as-you-go website type thing. It's through a company called Patreon. I called it the Inner Circle, and that's £5 a month. They do charge you £1 VAT, and it's very similar to the Obsession with Carp series, apart from obviously we've moved on from that and we're halfway through A Flick of the Tail at the moment. Now I'm pretty much convinced, like I said before, that we're going to be in some form of lockdown for at least January, and I don't know, I hope not, but I think we are. What I've done with that is it's open as in, if you join before the end of January, everything, you'll be able to catch up. Everything that I've done will be available if you are interested in that. If you do get locked down and you're stuck at home, yes, it's not a free site, but it's a £5 a month plus a little bit of that. And there is at the moment, I think there's something in the region of 18 episodes of A Flick of the Tail, so around 18 hours of that. I also do a questions and answers once a month, which is about an hour long. People send in questions and I sit here and answer all the questions. I pick one each month, which is a £100 mainline prize winner, and that gets its own video in more depth, about various questions. We've covered all sorts of stuff: self-photography, various spotting and plumbing stuff, different angles, depths. There's wind directions, undertows. There's all sorts of stuff on there. General. Anyone's got a question, they send them in, and I do my best to answer it the best I can. So that'll all be available. If you did join, that would be already there. You just log in and scroll back to the start and start from the beginning. So there we go. I think that's just about everything you need to know, all covered. Just remains to swap out me huge mug of tea for something a little bit more festive and a little bit stronger, I think. I would say, and have a mince pie, but I don't actually like mince pies. Maybe a turkey curry. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you all on the other side. Ta-da!